An expectation exploration edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, thank you for joining me. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube if you haven't yet. And if you approve of the video, give it a thumbs up afterwards. I do appreciate that. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish or at JKZND4. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want me, you could get me. Merchandise link below in the description. Here's what I want to go over today. Expectations. What are they for the 2021 Notre Dame Fighting Irish? Well, I guess that depends entirely on who you're asking, doesn't it? Here's a couple things. My first priority as we look at 2021 specifically, I think there's two of them at a minimum. At a minimum, there's two things that I think all Notre Dame fans should be looking for at this juncture, this far in to the Brian Kelly era. Okay. For me, here's number one. Do not lose at home. We have a good streak going. Keep it going. Defend your home turf. Do not lose a game at Notre Dame. That's number one. Number two, accepting that we are in a little bit of a transitional year. I think at a minimum, we still need to continue the streak of 10 plus wins. At a minimum, at the low end, keeping that streak and expanding it to 5 years of 10 plus wins is a big priority of me. On the low end, I'm not saying I'm going to be satisfied if we lose 2 games. Absolutely not. On the low end, I think these need to be reasonable expectations given that we're a dozen years into this coaching regime. I think that's fair. So some people might say, oh, John, we lost so many guys, the offensive line, the quarterback. We all know all that. And you know what my response is going to be to that. You got to be reloading by now when you lose that many good guys, not rebuilding. You just have to be. And if you are not by this point, you're doing something wrong and you're never getting over the hump. Period. Okay? So those are kind of my general thoughts. Do not lose a home game, and the minimum at the worst case scenario needs to be 10-2. Okay? So let's establish that. And I'm not saying I would be happy with 10-2. That is the minimum in a transitional year, 12 years in. Okay? So it's accurate that we've lost a ton of production. There's no way around those metrics and those statistics. There is only 4 or 5 Power 5 teams who have lost more statistical pieces than we have. Understand that, okay? It is what it is. But this is where I think the difference comes in between us, Notre Dame Nation, and the national college football people to some extent. I'm going to separate recruiting out of this and just talk. I'm not talking about overall arrow trajectory for a program recruiting, what it looks like the next few years. That's not this discussion. This discussion is specifically about on-field results this year. So I want to make that delineation crystal clear. Okay, I'm not talking about overall down-the-line recruiting. I'm talking about on the field what we have now this year. Starting in a little over a month. It's creeping up on us, okay? So, nationally, most outlets see Notre Dame taking a step back due to personnel losses and the natural shift in transition and instability that generally causes. In preseason 25s, I've seen Notre Dame in the top 10 and all the way down around 20 at the bottom of the top 25. I've literally seen us all over the board depending on who's putting out their list. Okay? So, what do we make of this? First, There should be no preseason rankings at all. That's number one. And there should be no in-season rankings until about weeks 4, 5, 6. See who's done what. And not only that, but who they've done it against and rank them then. The previous year is the previous year. It has no direct bearing on this year. So doing that whole exercise doesn't make much sense to me. It just doesn't, okay? So this will never happen, what I'm saying, because of commercials, PR, ESPN wants to do their top 25 predictions, all this stuff. Everybody wants clicks on their articles on Twitter and everything else. For those reasons, you're always going to have those preseason and then early season rankings. I just philosophically see them as useless because you don't know who's who yet, and half the teams don't play anybody that early in the year, okay? But I digress. Here's how I see this for Notre Dame. I think being looked at and perceived by many is that we're going to take a step back on the field should be a tremendous motivator for everybody in this program. I think Notre Dame has a real opportunity here to open some eyes and change the narrative early in the year. They're getting slept on. People are just thinking, I've seen people having Notre Dame at 7-5, 8-4. If that happens, I'm going to have a major aneurysm on air. So you got people thinking 7-5 is realistic for this team, counting Notre Dame out, not a factor this year. If processed properly, that could be a huge motivating factor. And I don't care where the official AP poll, coaches poll has us beginning of the year. You win, you're going to move up. So there's a tremendous opportunity here for Notre Dame to sneak up on some people in a year where they're not getting a lot of preseason credibility and love for being viable, okay? There's absolutely no reason at all Notre Dame can't bow up and show that they're not taking a step back, or if they do, it's very, very slight, maybe one game of leeway. But nowhere near what people expected, 8-4, 7-5. Even 9-3, I'm going to have a huge problem with because raw talent-wise, there is not 3 teams Notre Dame plays in 2021 that have more talent than Notre Dame. Just raw talent. 9-3 means that's on us. It's not like you're playing Ohio State, Alabama, where they have more talent and you understand they win. For Notre Dame to go 9-3, that's more about us than these other teams. Because there's not 3 teams we play that have equal talent as us. So I see it this way. Due to the large roster turnover, hungry guys are about to get their opportunity to prove themselves. Embrace that chance. On offense, this entire group should be motivated by the fact the staff is being open about change to a more electric, aggressive, attacking approach. That should excite and energize everybody, top to bottom, involved with that offense. Step up, seize snaps. Everybody should be excited to see this offense open up and run. Open some eyes early. Come out attacking in a way nobody's used to Notre Dame doing. You're going to open some eyes that way because people are not used to that, including us, including me. Come out attacking. Not timid, not conservative. No. Come out attacking. Show that you're embracing this new style. Okay? Now, nothing can derail a new offense more than an offensive line that's not great or not good. That is turning into my biggest question on offense, and there's a lot of them. Are these receivers going to step up? What's this quarterback situation going to play out like all year? Is it Cohen all year? If it's not him, who's the backup? Okay. There's a lot of questions. Nothing can derail what this new offense is trying to look like the way a inefficient offensive line can. So you got to have that piece, or this is going to be a struggle, and the people picking 8-4 are going to be right if you don't have that offensive line going where it needs to go. So that's the deal with offense. There's a lot of new opportunity. We want to see that. I want to be able to watch the first game against Florida State and see right away, yep, different offense. Right away. I want to be able to identify that and see it and feel it and believe in it. Okay? So that's the deal with offense. There's a lot of opportunity here for guys to get more playing time than they used to, show off more than they used to, their skills, make some more electric plays. Everybody should be in on that and excited about it. Now, switch over to the defensive side, the hashtag the Freeman factor side. Here's the deal. He's a new coach. Everybody should be at max effort to earn snaps and impress Marcus Freeman. There is no such thing as, oh, well, this guy's known me. I've been second string the last couple years. The other guy went to the NFL. Now these snaps are automatically mine. I know this coach likes me, knows I've been trying hard. There is none of that. Marcus Freeman's brand new here. You got to earn those snaps from scratch. There is no built-up favor in the piggy bank when you have a new coach coming in. Everybody needs to prove themselves all over again. I really like that dynamic. I think that's how you get the most out of all these guys in every one of these summer practice sessions coming up in August. Guys should be fighting for spots and snaps. I like that dynamic. Nobody has any built-up favor with Freeman yet. Earn it. Earn your spot, earn your plays. Okay? Also, just Freeman in general, everybody loves him, and I think that matters. I think these guys cannot wait to go ball out for this guy because they respect him and they love him already. I think that matters. So I think they are ready and are going to be foaming at the mouth to get out there and make plays for Marcus Freeman. So, I think if Notre Dame plays this right, it could change the narrative and show that we are indeed reloading and not rebuilding. Combine that with the recruits heading to South Bend in 2022 and what we're building in 2023 so far, and suddenly Notre Dame looks nationally dangerous in a way they generally haven't lately. But it all starts with maintaining the momentum we have gained over the summer and with recruiting and showing that we are not dropping off. We are here, we're not going anywhere, and we're just going to keep getting better. Notre Dame's in a good spot. Meagerly preseason rated, but in a position to change that based on play on the field early in the year. So, in a way, I don't mind that there's not that top 5 preseason ranking pressure expectation type thing. That presents opportunity to fly under the radar, have everybody think that we're going to drop off to a handful of losses, and then you show up ready to play, and everybody starts having to think, crap, Notre Dame lost so much talent, and they're still this good, and looking at their upcoming recruiting classes, they're just going to get even better. That is the perception I want everybody else to have to think about our program in. The arrow is pointing up, but you have to play well in the actual games to keep that going. All these good vibes with the image and likeness stuff everybody's having fun with and making money on now. all the recruiting kudos we're getting and all the work Freeman's doing, all that energy's on the positive side. You go lay an egg in Tallahassee, it's gone. You're flatline. Like, that's where this all has to come to a head. Once those actual games start, all that yaha time is over, and you got to earn your credibility. So the arrow's pointing up, but you got to go prove it in Tallahassee right away that you're the real deal. You're not stepping back 4 or 5 losses after a dozen years of a coach. You just that can't be. That cannot be the reality we're looking at. Okay? Just can't be. So I'm not mad at these preseason rankings. I get why we're a bit lower. But I'm really excited for the opportunity to show that we're not going away and regressing. That will make so many people mad that I just love it. So I truly do think Notre Dame has a unique opportunity here to fly under the radar and surprise some people. But it all comes back to my big themed picture. Are you reloading or are you rebuilding? The answer to that question is going to dictate what way this all goes. It ties into recruiting. It ties into how long Kelly's going to be around. It ties into the national narrative. That all comes into play. So be motivated. Look at it as a slight that people think you're going to drop back. Everybody has something to prove. This offense has something to prove, switching their scheme. And the defense has something to prove, playing for Marcus Freeman and watching him put his stamp on the Notre Dame program. So I'm excited for it. I think there's an opportunity to sneak up on people here, but you got to come ready to play great football right away. Right away. That's all.